On this week's episode of What's Up Weekly, the Bloomington Farmers Market is open for the season with new COVID precautions.
And we speak to IU students who are fighting against food insecurity and providing meals to those in need. What's Up Weekly starts now.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of What's Up Weekly. I'm Noelle Friel.
And I'm Anna Black. This month, Ramadan is being celebrated by Muslims around the world. What's Up Weekly reporter Elizabeth DeSantis talked to members of the Muslim Student Association about what the celebrations will look like across campus. Take a look.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
Ramadan Mubarak. I'm here at the Bloomington Islamic Center. Ramadan is a holiday of fasting and prayer in Islam. This is the first year in several years that Ramadan has been celebrated on campus, since the holiday shifts with the lunar calendar. IU Union Board hosted a Ramadan kickoff dinner, and IU Dining has been serving meals for Ramadan at Gresham and Reed. I talked to IU sophomore Hannah Nyatz about what such initiatives have meant to her in her community at Muslim Student Association.
It was always a special time for us to get together and be with other Muslim brothers and sisters of our community. When I came to IU, I started experiencing that as well. It was easier for me to connect with other students.
Student Muslim Association Religious Chair Romil Khan attributes the positive steps that IU has made towards making the Muslim students feel more included to the elected student leadership on campus.
With a Muslim Union Board president and with a Muslim student body vice president, you're definitely going to have students in higher up places, in positions of power, who are going to advocate for those things.
Students feel that although IU has worked to help students connect with their community during Ramadan, the meals offered by IU Dining need to be more accessible.
Some of my favorite options, they would quickly sell out. And so I believe people are getting them, but there is an accessibility issue. Also, they're a little pricey in my opinion.
The IU Dining Ramadan meals are only available at Reed and Gresham, creating an accessibility issue for students living off campus. For What's Up Weekly, I'm Elizabeth DeSantis.
For more on the ongoing campus Ramadan celebrations, visit Muslim Student Association at IU on Facebook or Instagram.
The Center on Representative Government at IU released an interactive app called Freedom Summer 1964. It was released in honor of the 15th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution that was made 151 years ago. The app allows the user to learn about events during the Civil Rights Movement and the 1964 Mississippi voter registration drive. As the user goes through the app, they can guess how events will unfold. 20 organizations from across the U.S. were used as primary sources when developing the app. Freedom Summer 1964 is available for free on the App Store.
Reporter Callie Lichter visited the Bloomington Farmers Market this week to see what's in store for this season. Callie.
The Bloomington Community Farmers Market has reopened for the season. Located at the Showers Commons, the market has allowed hundreds of local vendors to sell their goods to the community over the years. You can find a variety of different vendors at the market, ranging from farm fresh produce to baked goods and even honey. Beekeeper Chris Hunter and her husband have brought their honey from Hunter's Honey Farm to the market for several years.
We manage approximately 500 hives throughout Indiana and just sell all the products that we can get from the hive. The honey, beeswax, propolis, and then from those three main products from the hive, we make other value-added products.
Customers can go from table to table in the market to look at everything there is to offer, but they must still wear masks and follow COVID precautions when inside. There is no eating or drinking on market grounds. Even though the market had a later season last year, precautions have not stopped customers from coming to the market. Linnea Good, who owns Linnea's Greenhouse, says that the pandemic was beneficial for the market and for plant vendors.
You know, the market was later, but it was phenomenal. Everybody wanted to be in their garden. They wanted a house plant, and our sales went crazy. We really did well.
You can find Chris, Linnea, and other vendors at the market every Saturday from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Thanks, Callie. To learn more about the Bloomington Community Farmers Market, you can go to www.bloomington.in.gov. While the farmers market is a great place to pick up the latest produce, some people, especially students, don't have as much access to food as others. I'm here with Maria Peduto and Ethan Joss from Food Security for Thought, a group that aims to provide meals for students in need. Their goal is to educate the Bloomington community about food security and culturally relevant food. So thank you all so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you for inviting us on.
Of course. So can you tell me a little bit about how Food Security for Thought got started and kind of when?
Definitely. So both Ethan and I are exchange alumni of the U.S. State Department's National Security Language Initiative for Youth program. We just call it NSLY because it's a very long name. And so we both were able to study abroad in Taiwan and China and learn more about the world and learn about languages. And so when we came to IU here, we realized that there's this incredible need for food on campus, but specifically food for international and graduate students. And so because of our, sort of international background, we're both international studies majors as well, we thought that it would be a really wonderful project to be able to try and deliver them culturally relevant food, because that's something that's often missing from the food banks in town, and then as well as on campus. Some of the resources, they're definitely geared towards the traditional American student, as opposed to some of the cultural items such as having like rice or kimchi in a box, as opposed to powdered mashed potatoes or canned green beans. So that's really what inspired us, and we received a grant from the State Department in order to start this project, and then different Indiana University affiliates also really just donated to this project, and so it's grown to what it is today.
That's amazing. So you had a lot of donors and help. So what has that response been like from the community and also those who are receiving the food?
Yeah.
Sure, yeah, it's been really fantastic. Maria's been involved a lot with purchasing produce from all of the local stores, and so all of the shop owners are really, really pleased with the amount of business because we've been shopping local, the amount of business we've been providing with the amount of funds that we've been getting from these different sorts of grants, and also the responses from the amount of people that have reached out to our other partner, Shreya Mapadath, who's in charge of our social media. We have people that are reaching out through our social medias on Instagram and Facebook that are saying, this tastes like home, these different sorts of dishes that we've been able to, or these different sorts of global food boxes that we've been able to provide. And it's been a really fantastic experience, and we think it's had a great impact.
Wow. So did you all get started with this before COVID hit, or was this kind of resulted from kind of the aftermath of COVID-19?
Yeah, so this is definitely in the aftermath of COVID-19. I personally am a sustainable food systems major, and so the idea of food security had sort of been on my radar in my classes. But then with the onset of COVID, we saw a huge increase in the amount of people that need these resources. And so IU actually started the Emergency Meals Project that was delivering food to frontline workers as well as healthcare workers and international students that were sort of like stuck here in Bloomington because they couldn't go home. And so that's where we really saw that need for international graduate students, and how sort of the idea began to create these food boxes. And it initially started as a goal of distributing 50 food boxes and having a 2-day symposium with like 6 speakers maximum. And just last weekend we hosted a 4-day symposium with over 33 speakers, and right now this weekend we're about to deliver our 500th food box. So it has really grown to quite the quite the program from our initial goals. But as Ethan said, being able to like invest in the community, 100% of our produce and our pantry items are purchased from local grocers and local producers, and so that's been an investment of about $12,000 into the local Bloomington economy, and we're really proud of that.
That's incredible. So in this whole process, what has been one of the most shocking and surprising things that you've realized about food insecurity among students on campus?
I think really, for me, it's just been the fact that this is something that, affects everyone in a different way, whether it's that you are food insecure from the standpoint of not having access to food, or also the idea of not having that culturally relevant food, that's available to you and is what you actually want to be eating. And also just, even giving food boxes to people. Unfortunately, like, food security is a topic that is very stigmatized. And so, people may feel like, oh, it's somehow like shameful that I have to receive a box. And we're here to say, like, no, it is by no means, on your own circumstances that you need this box, and we're happy to provide it. And that was something for the food conference. We distributed 200 boxes in 2 days, and that was open to anyone. So there's never any need for them to show that they have need or anything like, oh, you need to require that you apply for SNAP benefits in order to receive these boxes, because it sort of reduces that barrier that people might otherwise feel. And so, I had boxes that I delivered to friends that were like, I didn't know where my next meal was coming, and I didn't even know that about them, right? Yeah. And so just to even see that, someone that I know and was a friend was like, this is where my dinner's coming from, it was kind of really shocking. And unfortunately, it's a stigmatized subject, and so we're really trying to remove that and make it really a celebration of food, and also just a celebration of other cultures as well. We had just today we posted all the different meals that people cooked along with us, and so I don't know, there's 30 submissions from people of just these delicious meals that they prepared with the ingredients from the food boxes, and so we love to see that because it really makes it feel like it's a community built around food.
And that has to be so rewarding too, to see those reactions and that you're making a difference in these people's lives, and you didn't even realize sometimes that they needed it.
Definitely.
And kind of lastly, how can people get involved and join this organization?
Well, there are multiple different ways. I think Mari can probably speak on it a little bit more than I can. But being involved, checking out our different social medias, and we plan on hopefully continuing the project through Campus Kitchen, but Mari, you know a little bit more about that.
Definitely, yeah. So if people want to follow our social medias, it's at food4thought at IU. And that houses really all of our recipes and just different highlights. We do cooking videos. Actually, this Saturday, we'll be hosting an Italian cooking demonstration on our Instagram Live. And so we have, Instagram, Facebook. They can also go to our website, foodforthought.indiana.edu, and be able to find all the resources and recipes, as well as all the recordings from conference. But really, I think just moving forward, demanding change from the university, from the food system, looking at a lot of these systemic issues that are causing people to be food insecure, and really trying to address those and make those sort of a forefront of conversation for people, I think is really important, because ultimately our goal is that we don't have to do this anymore, right? We don't want to be able, or we don't want to have to provide these food boxes for people. We want that to be something where no one's facing food insecurity, and then it means that our job is done.
Yeah.
Right. Sorry.
Oh, no, you go.
Thank you. Well, I do want to say that during our conference, we invited on Raul Srivastav, who is, I believe, director of IU Dining, and then Andrew Predmore, who is director of Sustain IU. And they both said during our conference that, they're happy to take suggestions. If groups of students want to see some sort of change in the IU Dining system, they're happy to hear, the feedback of the students as well. So that's one way students as well can be involved in that.
Well, again, thank you all so much for coming. I really appreciate it, and I think what you guys are doing is amazing.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yes. And so, Noelle, over to you.
Coming up, the movie Downton Abbey is getting a sequel with the original cast and several new stars. And a new hotel and casino is opening soon on the Las Vegas Strip. That and more on Trending Topics after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Pop icon Taylor Swift is once again breaking records with her music.
The singer reached her 9th #1 album with the debut of Fearless, Taylor's version. The album is a re-recorded edition of her 2008 Fearless album. According to Billboard, she is the first woman to ever have 3 new #1 albums in less than a year. Swift re-recorded some of her music after the master recordings of her first 6 albums were sold despite her objections.
The new Fearless album hit #1 on the Billboard 200 chart following last year's Folklore and Evermore.
And the movie version of the hit TV show Downton Abbey is getting a sequel.
The original principal cast is returning for a second Downton Abbey film, which is planned to be in theaters Christmas 2021. But several new stars will join the sequel, including Dominic West, Hugh Dancy, and Laura Haddock. Cameras are already rolling on a screenplay by Downton creator and Academy Award winner Julian Fellowes.
The first movie based on the long-running British series was released in 2019, grossing an impressive $194 million at the box office.
And a new hotel and casino in Las Vegas is getting lots of buzz.
The Resorts World Las Vegas is the latest hotel to be fully built on the Las Vegas Strip in over a decade. It has taken 6 years to build the property from the ground up. The huge resort has 3,500 rooms, a 5,000-seat concert venue, and 117,000 square feet of casino. Their goal is to reinvent hotel accommodation and is doing so with the help of Hilton.
You can start booking your hotel room now, so go ahead and get those bags packed because Resorts World Las Vegas is set to open on June 24th.
A plane made an emergency landing on a beach in Florida, but it may not be what you think.
The plane was forced to land in the shallow waters of Florida's beaches, but the plane was not full of people from a commercial airline. The plane was actually from World War II. The vintage warplane, a TVM Avenger, was flying in an air show when the engine failed. That's when the plane and the pilot landed near Daytona Beach.
No one was injured from the crash. However, the historical plane did face some injuries, and it could take many years to repair the rare jet. And that's what's up this week. Tune in next week for more local and entertainment news.
Be sure to follow us on social media. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at IUS TV News. For What's Up Weekly, I'm Noelle Friel.
And I'm Anna Black. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.